What's good, y'all? I want to briefly go over and review Spider-Man Noir because I'm a big Marvel's fan. And every time I develop or I digest some Marvel's content, whether it's the games or a movie or a show, I'm going to review it. So Spider-Man Noir might have caught most of our eyes back during the Shattered Dimension days. I don't know if that was PlayStation 2 or Xbox 360 or whatever the hell it was. I think he was developed around that time and with the comic books as well. And he's been an eye-popping character with the black and white. He kind of reminds us of, Batman if Batman was Spider-Man. Set in the 1930s, around Prohibition and the Great Depression. I think timepieces are really cool. So Spider-Man Noir catches our eye. So in this rendition on 2026 with Nicolas Cage, I think Nicolas Cage is a decent actor for Spider-Man Noir. If I'm not wrong, he voiced the Spider-Man Noir character in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movies. And I think he does a good job. But I think him being full-time Spider-Man Noir, I don't know how well it works. Nicolas Cage is not a bad actor, but I just feel like the writing did not lend to him to be a good Spider-Man Noir. And let me say this first and foremost. So let's start off with the coloring and the visuals of it and stuff like that. So it did something groundbreaking where you could watch the show in either black and white or color. I'm going to talk about the black and white first and when I used it. My grandma and a lot of the older people in my family still watch old country westerns and stuff like that. So black and white films are pretty interesting when you really feel like it's an old movie, right? I think the black and white was cool, but the set design, it showed 1930s, the cars was old. It still didn't feel like it was an old movie based on how the characters was talking. I'm not sure if his name was Winston or New Girl, if he's really a New Yorker, right? So his New York accent for the 1930s, they had a real strong twang to it. Nicolas Cage tried to do it like, yeah, see, and all this other stuff and stuff, especially with the Spider-Man Noir. It's just not believable. I think Denzel Washington as a New Yorker in ancient Rome on Gladiator 2 was a more convincing New Yorker, and he was supposed to be playing a Roman than Nicolas Cage in Spider-Man Noir. So I don't think the black and white was bad. I just wish that I felt more like it was an old show with the new elements, and it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like we could just have a black and white option. Where it did work was when Spider-Man Noir was on the screen, and we'll talk about my issue with that. So I used it when it was fight scenes for Spider-Man Noir, and I think that was really dope to see the fight scenes in black and white. I feel like I was watching a game or a movie or an old film, like he was really based in that time. I think that, my light just died on me, whatever. I think that, let's talk about the color aspect. The color is good, the color grading is good. I would tell people to watch it in color, not because I'm a newer person, but because I feel like the show shines a little bit differently with the color, in my opinion. Like, you can see like the essence and stuff like that. I forgot this singer, but they had a scene where he's getting mesmerized by this singer, and you can see like it's like a sunlight behind it. They really have good color grading, so it's kind of like I feel like the color grading aspect is more strong than the black and white aspect. Sorry, I'm messing with the light as we go through this. I'm on my Spider-Man Noir. Talk about color grading. Yapped about that. It's 8 episodes long, and I felt like it took damn near 6-7 episodes for it to get to that point. And I'll tell you why. Like, the villains were kind of humdrum, in my opinion, especially if you're watching in black and white. So for example, they had Sandman and they cheaped out on the Sandman. Like, I understand you don't have a movie budget, but if you're watching in black and white, it is like the nigga got a scab on his face, right? So I feel like they could have did Sandman and gave him more CGI effects. And to the last episode, I ain't gonna spoil it, you don't really see him go full sand or anything, or it feels like he got, he's powerful. Because the old Sandman, he'll turn his hand into a hammer or something to where it looks like it's hard. This guy just balls up his fist and hits people. I guess the black guy is supposed to be playing Tombstone. He's an iconic villain in Spider-Man, but I couldn't tell. I didn't know if he was Rhino or what. I didn't know what he was. I didn't know what was happening with his skin. I just know that he was super strong and was impenetrable as far as bullets and stuff like that. So it was like, I don't know. That's why I say the black and white don't lend to it. Shocker or Megawatt is another villain in there. But this is kind of like talking about the show without loosely spoiling it, or loosely spoiling the show without talking about too much. And I think he was a great actor in it. And you can see his powers in black or in white. So I feel like they should have showed more of him. And I think he still is the show amongst the villains, but it just took too long to get there. Silvermane is cool, but Silvermane is Silvermane. Is you an old white mobster gangster? And it's like, if we really want to take you out, we could. Storyline was decent. Not really blowing my socks off. I'm surprised I'm not seeing more people talk about this show. As far as people who were clamoring for it and were happy when they seen the trailer. Other thing I would say is I like how they did the origin of Spider-Man. Like, for example, we know in superhero movies, superheroes have to get their powers, and we want to know why they got their powers. But instead of spending a whole movie explaining the same origin type of story, they kind of just, they fit it in there. And they fit it in there and it caught your attention. And the last thing I will say, and the biggest problem I have is, if the show is called Spider-Man Noir, we need to see Spider-Man. It doesn't make sense. That is the best part of the show, when he masks up and he's Spider-Man, or if he's just Ben Reilly and he's using his powers. Y'all need to spend the budget on doing that. That's very strong, even if it would take away the bad acting of the New York accent. It would add more, because I think he has a better New York accent when he's playing the Spider, because he said he copied old heroes from old comic books. So I don't think I've seen enough Spider-Man on there. And the last 3-4 episodes have a lot of Ben Reilly being Spider-Man Noir. So that's my biggest thing on it. So if I had to rate this series, I would rate it like a good 6 or 7 out of 10. It was getting boring at the time. Like, you can ask my fiance how many times I had to rewind the show and how many times I done fell asleep on it. One, because it moved a little slow. It works as a detective show, but I feel like you need to incorporate Spider Noir a lot more. I think that was the coolest part of that. So comment below what you'll think about Spider-Man Noir. Am I bugging to give it a 6.5, 7? What they could have did better? How do y'all feel about the black and white? And, you know, what's your thoughts on that show overall? But, man, my name is Big Dog Dion, and I'm out.
Yeah, I do it for the $100. Yeah, I do it for the ones that bounce back every loss. They try to sink my ship, I'm steady sending cannonballs. And now my money up is like a can of Adderall. Hey, they try to throw me in the gulag. I got my class up like